Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is a strange case of Sean here with the third chapter of my story, New World Order, Undertaker. A story written by me with some assistance from ChatGPT. Before we jump into the chapter, I'm going to give a brief recap, but be sure to check out the previous chapters as well. And of course, if you enjoy the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. I appreciate all the support. Now in chapter 2, we saw the aftermath of the chaotic culmination to the StarrCade 1997 World Heavyweight Championship match, where Mark Calloway, continuing with his Undertaker moniker, debuted in the WCW, having to have appeared to join the nWo by attacking Sting and revealing an nWo t-shirt. But other actions showed that Taker had bigger plans for the nWo. On the next night, on Monday Night Nitro, Eric Bischoff confirmed not only the signing of The Undertaker and him being the newest leader of the nWo, but he was also the new reigning WCW World Heavyweight Champion. Taker then addressed the entire WCW that all were in danger, as well as put a warning out there to the members of the nWo about failing him. WCW faithful Bret Hart and Lex Luger came out to confront the nWo. Hart then challenged Taker to a championship match, which Bischoff dismissed. Luger then selected Hart to be his replacement tag partner for his tag team championship match against the Steiners. Bischoff accepted the request, but then added Scott Hall and Kevin Nash to the championship match in the main event. Then the Giant came out to the ramp, joining Hart and Luger, and threw his name out there to challenge Taker for the championship. But before Bischoff could decline, Taker accepted for that week's Thunder. In the WCW Tag Team Championship match, the Steiners retained after some miscommunication between Hall and Nash. On that week's Thunder, we saw Bischoff discussing the state of the nWo with other members, and he ran into someone that was off camera. In the main event of Thunder, the Giant almost ruined Taker's in-ring WCW debut and championship reign when the arrival of Taker's former manager, Percy Pringle, distracted him, but only for a bit. With the referee distracted, a masked man ran into the ring and attacked the Giant. This second distraction allowed Taker to take advantage in defeating the Giant. Thunder ends with more questions than answers. And with that said, let's get started, shall we? Monday Night Nitro opens with the commentators announcing the removal of Eric Bischoff as the Executive Vice President of WCW. They announce that the new Executive Vice President will be making their presence felt with a special announcement any moment. Then, the music of Dusty Rhodes plays. He makes his entrance to the ring, and the crowd shows their love. He enters the ring with a microphone and begins to talk. Thank you everyone for your love. To be the new VP of WCW is an absolute honor, and I will not let you down, unlike that clown that was in this position before me. I intend to handle business and not have selfish motives. At the top of the list of things I want to get done, it's take down the nWo. The crowd cheers. He continues. I am not afraid, nor should anyone be in that locker room. We will fight, and we will purge this company and this sport of that garbage. Now to the first order of business. The Undertaker needs a challenger for the WCW World Championship. Then the nWo music plays, and out comes Eric Bischoff. He stands at the ramp with a mic. He begins. Look, Dusty, you don't realize the magnitude of what you just declared. You see, we are on a mission to dismantle the WCW. Taking us down isn't going to do a damn thing. So you may as well give up, go home, put on some polka dots, and take it easy before you make this any more worse for yourself. The crowd boos. Dusty responds. Now listen here, Eric. Pinocchio's nose grew the second he called you scary, because even fairy tales don't lie like that, if you will. The crowd cheers. He continues. But you all do have the advantage at the moment, but not for long. You see, tonight, I got two of the best to battle it out against each other, to take on your dead man. And the best of the best will go on to take that championship and take out all the rest of the nWo. Tonight, we're going to see Lex Luger face off against the Hitman, Bret Hart, with the winner fighting The Undertaker at Super Brawl for the WCW World Championship. The crowd cheers. Eric then responds, "That's the best you got, Dusty? I think you've seen we took You know what? Go ahead. That's fine. Eric laughs it off and waves goodbye to Dusty. But Dusty calls for his attention. Hold on a hot minute there, Bischoff baby. I also got a request from the Giant, and since we don't know who that masked fella from Thunder was, he wants two, count 'em, two of your goons tonight in a handicap match. But you get to decide. Eric smiles, but has a small look of confusion while Dusty smiles. In the backstage area, we see Eric Bischoff speaking with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. There is some tension between the nWo members. Hall begins. Look, big man, last week was an accident. You really think I'd want to mess up that bad in front of the dead man? Nash stares at him. He appears to be unbothered, but has a response. I suppose, just I feel that it didn't have to happen. That was a wild chair shot. Your mess up cost us the tag team titles. Hall won't look at Nash. Eric intervenes. Look guys, you are better than this. You are stronger than this. We have to rub dirt on it and move forward. Right now, you got Dusty and the rest of that locker room laughing at us. We've got to remind them who we are and why we are at the top of the food chain. Hall and Nash nod their heads. Eric continues. Now with Lex and Hart occupied, I think we can still make moves on those tag team championships. I want you guys at the forefront of that, and I have a plan that I need to run by Taker. Hall and Nash look a bit skeptical. Eric continues. I got this covered. I suggest silencing some of that laughter. I heard some giant laughs over that way. Nash and Hall look angry and walk off. Eric then enters the room to see Taker alongside Percy. Eric begins. Look, Taker, I'm all for having Percy here with us in the nWo, but I just would have wished for a heads up, that's all. Percy looks to Taker, who then responds. Silence is a weapon to be used wisely. There is a grand plan for what is to come. Percy smiles happily. Eric responds. Yeah, but you at least need to tell me who that was you got to attack the Giant. It wasn't one of our guys, was it? Taker slowly looks at Eric, visibly angry, and responds. Did you not just hear a word I said? Bischoff's head sinks down, and Percy is taken aback. Taker continues. All will be revealed in time, to the WCW, to the fans, and to my family. Because at the end of the day, that is what the nWo is. Eric seems to force a smile. He then responds. You're right about that. Now, looking at things the way they are, Hall and Nash are the new #1 contenders for the tag team titles. I think we should fight for that match to be a tornado tag rules at Super Brawl. Percy interrupts. If I may, Hall and Nash couldn't get the job done last week. What's to say this time would be different? Eric stares at Percy. There wasn't another team involved, Percy, and they are former champions. Percy looks at Eric and then turns his attention to Taker and responds. But they took drastic measures and still lost. Brett and Lex were incapacitated. History shows they likely will fail again. Bischoff remains angry. He responds with a raised voice. Okay, you need to shut up, especially for someone who's never wrestled, ever, and you know what else? Taker then moves in between Bischoff and Percy. He speaks. You will not talk to Paul that way. The crowd cheers. He continues. Paul is right in the matter that we use all the resources we have. Let's take a look at what Savage and Henning do tonight to the Giant. This should be a walk in the park for them. Taker motions to Paul and they walk off together. Eric looks angry and confused. On the broadcast, we have a WCW United States Championship match between defending champion Diamond Dallas Page and the undefeated fan favorite Bill Goldberg. The match is surprisingly competitive, with DDP giving Goldberg strong competition. Goldberg hits DDP with a spear, and then he prepares for another. As he lurks in the corner, Scott Hall attacks him from the apron, regulating the referee to call for the bell. DDP recovers and looks to help, but then is blasted from behind by Kevin Nash with a steel chair. The referee calls for the bell, and the match is ruled a no contest. Nash hits some more shots on DDP, but is then hit with a spear from Goldberg. He gets Nash into position for the jackhammer, but Hall saves Nash. Hall then hits the outsider's edge onto Goldberg, and they taunt in the middle of the ring. Back in the backstage area, Eric Bischoff returns back to the room with Taker and Paul. He begins. See? I told you. Hall and Nash can do good work. Why not just send them out there against the Giant? It's a no-brainer. Taker and Paul look at Bischoff confused. Taker responds, "Did they? The way I see it, Goldberg is still undefeated." The crowd gives a collective ooh. He continues while assisting Bischoff to the door. "I suggest if you are worried about what's best for the nWo, maybe you go out there. Join Hennig and Savage from ringside." Taker then gently pushes Eric out of the room and shuts the door. Eric looks concerned. In the second hour of the broadcast, Randy Savage and Curt Hennig make their way to the ring alongside Eric Bischoff. They're about to face off against an angry giant in a handicap match. Savage and Hennig play mind games early on, tagging in and out, avoiding direct confrontation. Hennig uses quick strikes and chop blocks to wear down the big man's leg. Later on in the match, Savage dives from the top rope with a double axe handle, knocking down the giant. Hennig distracts the referee, while Savage wraps a tag rope around the giant's throat from the corner. The giant powers out, shoving Savage off and sending him crashing down onto Eric Bischoff. He continues his attack on Hennig. Savage tries to hit a flying crossbody, but then gets caught mid-air, which the giant then turns into multiple backbreakers. Hennig re-enters and clips the leg again, dropping the giant to one knee. The duo is then able to hit a double team move, barely, and scramble for a quick cover, but the giant powers out with authority. The giant rallies with a double clothesline, knocking both men down to the mat. He press slams Hennig and throws Savage across the ring like a rag doll. Just as the giant lifts Savage up for a chokeslam, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash storm the ring, attacking the giant. A disqualification is called as the referee throws out the match. They all team up on the giant. They call on Hennig to hit his perfect plex on the giant. They then call Savage to hit his famous elbow drop. As Savage leaps through the air, Goldberg's music plays. Goldberg and DDP run out with weapons in hand. Eric Bischoff runs for his life back to the backstage area. The duo neutralize the nWo members and cause them to retreat. They then help the giant up. Now in the parking lot, we see Eric Bischoff gasping for breath when he sees Taker and Paul near a car. He speaks. "Wait, where are you going? We still have more to do." Taker then enters the car while Paul shuts the door for him. He then looks at Bischoff and responds, "Yes, indeed we do." Paul enters the car and they then drive off. Back from commercial, Dusty Rhodes addresses the chaos of the handicap match that we just saw. He begins. "So we got a situation, and you best bet I got a solution. I'm here to announce, at Super Brawl, you're going to see a monstrous 8-person tag match between Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Curt Hennig, and Randy Savage, and they will be facing the Giant, Diamond Dallas Page, Goldberg, and a partner of their choosing." The crowd cheers. In the main event, we see two of WCW's top stars battle it out for a chance to challenge for the Undertaker's WCW World Heavyweight Championship and deal a devastating blow to the nWo. Lex Luger is about to face off with Bret the Hitman Hart. The bell sounds, but Hart rolls out of the ring for a microphone. He begins. "Look, Lex, I have a lot of respect for you, and I'll be happy with either one of us taking on that piece of garbage and winning back the WCW Championship at Super Brawl. I just want to ask you that no matter the outcome, we remain united against the nWo. And if I can't win tonight, I will happily join Team WCW at Super Brawl. And I hope you be willing to do the same." The crowd cheers and Luger nods. They shake hands. Bret tosses the microphone out of the ring and the match finally begins. Bret controls the early moments with chain wrestling, outmaneuvering Luger's power with crisp arm drags and a headlock takedown. Luger uses his strength to break out of a hold and delivers a powerful shoulder block, turning the tide. Luger hits a series of scoop slams and then hits a delayed vertical suplex, slowing the pace in his favor. Bret rolls out and takes a moment to regroup, coming back in with a quick takedown into a hammerlock. Luger muscles out, sending Bret into the ropes and catching him with a back body drop. Bret bounces back with a drop toe hold into a grounded headlock, showing off his mat wrestling control. Luger fights back with shoulder blocks and a running power slam for a near fall. Bret ducks a clothesline and nails a swinging neckbreaker, then quickly follows with a hammerlock slam. Hart targets the legs with precision, shin breakers, and elbow drops to weaken Luger's base. Bret throws Luger chest first into the turnbuckle, stunning him, classic Hitman tactic. Luger rallies back with a backbreaker and a press slam, then signals for the torture rack. Bret slips out behind him, clips the knee, and drops Luger with a side Russian leg sweep. Bret hits the second rope double axe and immediately transitions into the sharpshooter. Luger struggles for a bit, but has no escape. He taps out clean in the center of the ring. After the match, Bret helps Luger to his feet, and the two shake hands again in a show of sportsmanship. Hart then writes out the letters of the nWo and then does Taker's taunt, running his finger across his throat, signaling that the nWo is in deep trouble. The morale for WCW has definitely increased thanks to their new vice president and renewed unification between the WCW faithful. But will that be enough come Super Brawl? We'll have to see in the next chapter. Thanks for watching, stay strange, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next video.